Now, I want to quickly review the top moments of the week, as well as review what is going on in the 2024 election, starting off with Ron DeSantis. I'm going to show a clip for this as well. Governor DeSantis was asked a question over the weekend at a simple press conference, and this person went hard on him. And they said some things that were not true. And rather than describing them, I want you to take a look and just see how DeSantis goes on this guy. Take a look.
First of all, I did not allow anything with that. Well, listen, excuse me. I'm not going to let you accuse me of committing criminal activity. I am not going to take that. I am not going to take that. So you want to have a civil conversation, that's one thing. Try to say that I'm letting, that guy was Baker acted. He should have been ruled ineligible, but they didn't involuntarily commit him, and so they weren't. No, there is the truth. There is something about the truth. It's not everyone doesn't have their own truth. No. You don't get to come here and blame me for some madman. That is not appropriate, and I'm not going to accept it. Yeah. Oh, that is nonsense. That is such nonsense.
Okay, so if DeSantis goes hard at people like this, his numbers are going to go up. You could see, so a lot of the critique, of DeSantis right now is that DeSantis is kind of dry. He's not like Trumpy enough where, he's got good policy, but he's just kind of dry. His personality's not good. You could see something shift in this, right? Obviously, as a politician, you go to these press releases with a certain agenda and a narrative that you're going to be pushing. But you get a question like that and you go off script. And when Donald Trump goes off script, for example, it tends to actually be pretty good, especially in his campaigning. Maybe as president, not so much, but in his campaigning, it goes well, especially when you're talking to the media. And as always, this episode is sponsored by Gulag America. You can see I'm wearing my favorite shirt today. It is in Spanish. Comment down below if you speak Spanish, maybe even translate for those who are not Spanish speakers. Again, Gulag America is the premier sponsor of this show. They are an apparel company. As we go into pumpkin spice season, I encourage everyone to check out gulagamerica.com. If you use my code JoshCar10, you will get 10% off there. The reason why I mentioned pumpkin spice season is because they have fantastic hoodies. I will be donning soon. I do live in Utah, so it's still a little warm. Once we get down into the 60s, I'm going to be donning it on the show here. The clothes are very well priced, but very high quality. I've washed this shirt over and over again. It's still form-fitting. The collar, with other shirts that gets wrinkly, it gets weird. This has stayed nice. So if you want to get yourself or a friend a gift or a family member, gulagamerica.com is the place to go. DeSantis, when he went off script, was awesome. You could see it flicker in him, kind of a switch being turned from politician with this kind of set narrative and what his team told him to say and what they brainstormed up to do not say that. Like, you just outright lied and I'm going to destroy you. And it was awesome. Like, that is what we wanted. That is what, looking at DeSantis before he started his campaign, it was those things that I looked at and I was like, oh, I'm sold on DeSantis. He was going in. And so seeing that video reminded me of why myself and a lot of other people really liked DeSantis. And I think that if he can do that more, he will do better, especially, this is the thing that I'm playing out in my mind. Most likely, now things could change, but most likely it's going to come down to Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis on the debate floor. I think that will happen. I think Donald Trump will debate him at least once, probably just once. If Donald Trump says something stupid, which I got to say, a lot of Donald Trump's arguments against Ron DeSantis are really bad. Like, you're not loyal. That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in politics. Anyone who thinks that there's loyalty, like you can't run against someone else in an office, is idiotic. But putting that aside, if he says something like that, if Ron DeSantis takes the opportunity to stop trying to be so presidential, to stop being politician-y, and to just lay into Donald Trump, I think his numbers would skyrocket. I'm talking like 20 points. I think if Donald Trump said something just stupid and Ron DeSantis looked back at him and said, "You're an idiot. That was the stupidest thing you ever said, and I'm going to tell you why," and just ripped into him, I think that would be freaking awesome. And I think that at this point is probably the only way Ron DeSantis comes back from his campaign. Hasn't been great. We've talked about it before. This is, in my opinion, the only way he comes back, because I think he's got a really good shot at beating Joe Biden if he's the nominee. I don't think he needs to worry about that. I think independents, for the most part, are sold on him, a few Democrats as well. But he's got to win the nomination. That is the real battle. And at this point, he needs to go toe-to-toe with Trump and show people, I am better than Trump. And that is the way to do it. So not only would that be awesome for Ron DeSantis, but that'd be awesome for all of us. Let me just speak for the whole country. That would be so freaking cool to see. That would be hilarious. That would be like the best outcome ever. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope it happens. I'll message the DeSantis team. All of you can message him too, and maybe it'll get done. We'll see. All right, next up, I'm going to play a clip for this as well because it was pretty cute. Vivek Ramaswamy has still been campaigning as hard as ever. I mean, if you haven't been on the internet lately, then you wouldn't have seen it. It's filled with interviews with Vivek Ramaswamy and people or journalists. In fact, I'm going to be doing a video later this week, next week I should say, where about Vivek Ramaswamy's interview with Hassan on MSNBC. It was really fiery. It was really good. A viral clip has been everywhere about a 10-year-old girl asking Vivek Ramaswamy about his foreign policy. I want to show it for everyone because it was a viral moment of the week. Take a look.
When you're president, what are you going to do what are you going to do when China attacks Taiwan?
Oh, that's a tough question all day. Cameron, what's your name?
Grace.
Grace, and how old are you?
10.
Let's give Grace a round of applause. I love that. I respect that. So my top job is, I got a few elements of my foreign policy that relates to the direct answer to your question. Declare economic independence from China, including Taiwan. Make sure that we don't start World War III. And actually advance American interests through new alliances with countries that actually share our vision for the future.
So obviously a good answer on its face, but the reason why I'm highlighting it is you can see Vivek is leaning into that Obama-like charisma a lot. I mean, this is a really Obama-like thing to do. And a lot of conservatives might hear that and be like, ooh, like, no, not Obama. But Obama was really good at campaigning, and he was really good at that charisma. So I don't say that as an insult. That's a good thing. Obama was a very successful politician, even if I literally hate everything he stood for. So I think that will favor him overall. I think he should keep doing that. He campaigns like an animal, whether you agree with him or not. I mean, he is an animal campaigner. The fact that he's beating out the former vice president of the United States and a UN ambassador and a senator and a governor, I mean that is impressive. It goes back to what I was saying about age limits on Congress, though. If younger guys get into the race, they may win simply because they've got the stamina to do so. Vivek Ramaswamy is the youngest guy in there, and I would argue his campaign is the best. I mean, he's just freaking going, and he doesn't look tired either. He's just going. He's going. Perhaps my YouTube algorithm is just like set for Vivek Ramaswamy, but I really try to find stuff with like Tim Scott and Mike Pence, and it's like for every one event they do, Vivek has done 5 already. And so, again, going back to the age limits and stuff, I mean, I think Vivek Ramaswamy is young, therefore he's going to have an advantage over the old guys anyway.